Hello and welcome back to Pratham Test Prep YouTube channel. So today we are going to do session number 35 of Boost Your Vocabulary. So let's have a look at the first phrase of the day. So the first one is a left-handed compliment. Now, whenever you are giving a compliment to someone, but it is actually more like an insult, that is called a left-handed compliment. Basically, what we're trying to say is that indirectly you are insulting someone, you're being sarcastic, but the other person is probably not able to understand it. Have a look at the sentence. She said she liked my hair, but it turned out to be a left handed compliment when she asked how long I had been dyeing it. So you come across a person who compliments your hair and you are saying, oh, thank you. And later you get to know that the person was actually joking about it because the person asking for how long you have been dyeing your hair, because clearly you are old, your hair is turning all gray and white and you're just covering it up. So the person is not really complimenting you. It's more like an insult, but it's hidden. So if you remember studying poetic devices, then you could also consider this particular idiom to be somewhat like a euphemism. Let's have a look at the second idiom, that is a sight for sore eyes. Now, a person or thing that one is extremely pleased or relieved to see. Whenever you are extremely depressed, whenever you are very sad, and then you have this one person in your life whom you look at and you are instantly smiling and you feel better. So that is a situation that you can use to be described as a sight for sore eyes. Have a look at the sentence. After being away from home for so long, my friends and family were a sight for my sore eyes. So imagine going to abroad, let's say for your higher studies, and you returned back, you have returned to India, let's say after 3 years, and you're meeting your family and your friends after 3 long years. How do you think your reaction is kind of going to be? You're going to feel really relieved because finally you get your own people, your gang back in the city, and it's almost as if we are very happy. There's a sense of relief that finally you have someone whom who is very very close to you. So to describe that, we can again use this particular idiom. The next one is call a spade a spade. Now, whenever we talk about speaking very frankly, very honestly, and very directly, when you're not trying to mince your words, you're just being very upfront and direct. It's called uh, as an idiom, that is called a spade a spade. For example, after hours of discussion and meetings, I believe it's time to call a spade a spade. So what are you saying? We are again discussing that, let's say, after a long hours of discussion, you are deliberating about, let's say, taking a decision in terms of a business point of view. And you realize that people are trying to be diplomatic. They're not really firm in taking any one particular decision. So what do you say? It's high time. Let's call a spade a spade. So just present things exactly the way they are, and that's it. Let's have a look at the next one. So next one says empty vessels make most noise. Now, you know how we talk about some people who pretend to say a lot of things and who pretend as if they know it all, right? But eventually, what is happening is that they don't really have any knowledge. So they might know very little, but they express as if they are the only ones who know everything about the world and the universe. Look at this sentence. Sham speaks as if he's an expert in everything, but empty vessels make the most noise. So again, we're talking about this person who expresses himself as if he is an expert in every single thing existing in the universe. But what's the truth behind it? The truth is that he is just an empty vessel that is making the most noise. Similar idiom would be barking dogs don't bite. So dogs that bark a lot do not bite. It's just a way to show, to scare you away, but they are not really going to do anything. So both the idioms you could say are very similar in nature and can be used interchangeably to a great extent. Let's have a look at the next one, which says Good Samaritan. Now, we always talk about the importance of being a good human being, right? of being helpful when you are helping people in need. And I personally feel that, especially when the COVID period began, when we were under a very, very strict lockdown in the city and in the country, this was also a period where a lot of people stood up. They were helping each other. So you could consider them to be good Samaritans. And even the frontline workers, whether you talk about the police, whether you talk about the healthcare workers, right, the sanitation workers, they all were still working, even if they were under the threat of getting the disease. So, a person who unselfishly helps others, so when you're helping someone without actually having any hidden interior motive that, okay, you are helping someone, so aapko bhi benefit hoga, right? So, when you that does not exist, when it's a true selfless good deed, you can call yourself to be a good Samaritan. Look at the sentence. He's such a good Samaritan that he helped the accident victim reach the hospital. So he's such a selfless person. He is so good that he actually helped the accident victim reach the hospital without thinking that, the police is going to question him or you are yourself going to be in trouble or anything close to that. That's what generally we see people think that, Arey, police aa jayegi, hame answer karna padega, hame pakad lenge, and all those kind of things. We hear people saying all that. So we are saying that is not really the case, and the person was actually quite helpful to the person who got injured or the victim of the particular accident. The next one is set one's teeth on edge. So to induce an unpleasant sensation, to repel, to irritate. Sometimes it happens, especially if you would look at a blackboard, we tend to write with a chalk and it creates very weird noise. Or even if you're dragging the chair in a room, the kind of noise that is created, it is just so annoying. It's almost as if it gets on your nerves. So it makes you just absolutely lose your temper. It irritates you to the core, right? And that's precisely what we're talking about, setting one's teeth on edge. So to induce an unpleasant situation is something similar. The noise of the machine in the next room set my teeth on edge. What does it mean? That there was so much noise going on in the other room because of some machine being on or switched on, that it set my teeth on edge. It just irritated me to another level. It just annoyed me to another level altogether. And I was not really able to handle that. So anything that annoys you, anything that troubles you, anything that irritates you to the core, you can use that particular situation to be described by using this particular idiom. The next one is hit the bull's eye. So get something exactly right or be on target. If you people have played the game darts, right? So the game is called darts, and what you're throwing, those little pins, those are also called darts. So when you throw and it lands exactly in the centermost point of the entire circular face, right, of the entire circular structure wooden board, that is called bullseye. So when you hit the bullseye, it means you have hit exact on the right target. Exactly. Not like half a millimeter above or below, but exactly on the target. That is called hitting the bull's eye. Look at this sentence. The finance minister's speech on attracting new investments hit the bull's eye, as can be seen by increasing FDI. What is FDI? Foreign direct investment. So the finance minister had given a speech, and the purpose of the speech was to attract new investments from abroad for our country's growth. And his speech, the purpose was fulfilled. The speech and whatever motive of the speech was, that was kind of successful. Why? Because increasing FDI, foreign direct investment that we really wanted, that started increasing. So whatever the goal was of the finance minister, that was achieved, and hence we are able to use this particular idiom. Let's have a look at the next one. In the good books. So whenever you are in somebody's favor or good opinion, अगर मैं बहुत सही शब्दों में और बहुत straight forward way में बोलूं, whenever somebody considers you good, whenever somebody considers okay that this person is nice, whenever you have a good impression about someone, so you can say that the person is in your good books. किसी और के बारे में जब आपके मन में एक अच्छा impression होता है, you can say that the person is in your good books. The fact that he always managed to be in the good books of the bosses surprised one and all. So as we just jokingly say that it's very difficult to please your bosses, right? And then you're also trying to say that because there's this one person who always managed to stay in the good books of all the bosses, of all the managers, that was a fact that surprised every single person around him, right? Because obvious reasons. Whenever you're working, you tend to make mistakes. You tend to not really be able to negotiate with people well. But because this person has been able to negotiate with every single boss throughout the hierarchy, then you could say that the person is in the good books of the managers. Let's have a look at the next one. So the next idiom is jam on the brakes. To press the brakes suddenly and in a hard way. Now look at the sentence first in order to understand the meaning of this phrase in a better way. I had to jam on the brakes because a kid suddenly appeared from nowhere and crossed the road. Imagine you are driving a car and out of nowhere suddenly a child comes in front or a dog comes. Sometimes that is, I think, one incident that happens most of the times with a lot of us. Or there's a sudden another person passing by on the bike or on the scooty that just suddenly comes, or another car comes, or some other conveyance or medium of transport comes all of a sudden. If you do not put brakes, what is going to happen? It's obviously you're going to get collided with the other vehicle, or you're going to hit or injure somebody. So what do we do whenever something like that happens? The most basic reflex action that you could have is that your feet directly goes on the brake. And if that does not happen, it's clearly a problem. So I had to jam on the brakes. When you're suddenly pressing the brakes of the car in a very sudden way, number one, and in a very hard way, so that the car is immediately stopped, so that the vehicle is immediately stopped. To describe such a situation, we can use the idiom jam on the brakes. And if I hope the meaning of the sentence and the idiom is clear, let's have a look at the last idiom for the day, which is make a beeline for. Now, whenever you are hurrying directly towards someone or towards something, to describe such a situation, we can use this particular idiom. For example, when Raghav enters a party, he always makes a beeline for the dessert section. Now, whether you talk about weddings, whether you talk about parties, I think one major motive that probably most people have is number one, to go and just hog as much as you can, to just eat as much as you can, right? Especially, I think most Indians go for weddings because they want to eat food. So the motive is very clear, right? Whenever you enter a wedding party or a general party, what do? You randomly and very just straight away go to the dessert section or starter section or any particular section that you probably enjoy. So that is called making a beeline for something. When you are hurrying, so important words, hurrying, being direct towards a person or a thing. So these 3 points you have to remember. I hope that this idiom is also clear. So that's all for today's video. I'm going to see you in the next one. Till then, take care and do not forget to subscribe to Pratham Test Prep channel and also click the bell icon for more such updates. Thank you so much.